How you doing, everybody? Yes, we have to send our prayers out for the beautiful, our beautiful neighbors to the south in Spokane, Washington. And I just want to say, for you, you know, people that are so vile up in Canada are saying such nasty things. People are losing their homes, they're losing their animals, they're losing all their assets are being burned up. And now they're all on the street there because of forest fires. Absolutely careless. Absolutely carelessness. They're all human, been started by, well, I wouldn't even call them human. They've been started by the reptoids. And like I said, we have forest fires going on right now. They're going to be battling these things. It is cooler today. There's a lot of chaos right now. I mean, the banks are crashing. Like I said, we just got reports in there that the planes and trains are being grounded. That's going to be shutting down in the States right now. And I think that could be because of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has ordered it to bring down any type of, so they can go to all the jets that are there coming and going and inspect all the planes. Any company that's inside the United States that's carrying any kind of aerosols or whatever mixtures in their fuel, everything's going to be inspected. Yep. And if they get caught with any type of poisons that they're sending out through their fuel, then they're going to be grounded. So, like I was saying, my question was to everybody, why are we being coaxed to save putting money or fiat currency or paper money into our banks, playing with the fiat currency when it's really worthless? So just spend it. Get rid of it. There's no point saving money when it's worthless. There's no point saving any money when they're printing it. Even the gold-backed currency they're printing, I don't even trust that. Because I know in my heart, I know based on my intel that's coming out, it's going to be worthless or it's going to be gone in 3 to 5 years. So why stockpile it? So get rid of your paper. Get rid of all your paper. Get rid of you can leave maybe 10% in your bank account because, like I said, their doors are going to shut on them very, very soon. They are already shutting down schools. I know of over 1,000 schools, and more schools are shutting down every day inside the States. They're using all kinds of different excuses. But basically what they're doing is, when they're dropping out the schools because it's an old system. It's an old, fascist, socialist type ideology. And they don't want to, indoctrinate our children any more than they have to. So they're shutting them down, right? They're just going to shut them down. And when they do shut those schools down, what does that do to the real estate around that area? That's going to, devaluate the properties. And I have said many, many times, this is the way how I would go about it. I would go about it by shutting down or trying to sell your house if you owe money on it. If you don't owe any money on the home, just stay in the home, okay? But all real estates, this holding pattern or this bubble environment we've been living in for the last 20 years is about to pop. And I believe that real estate's going to go down to 10%. Okay? So, yeah. Now, I'm just thinking about what Trump's doing right now. In my theory, what I'm thinking right now of what's going on in the Middle East and Iran and Iraq, I think because of the old system, the old U.S. incorporation that was being run by the deep state at that time, I believe that when the Saudis separated and discontinued their joint operations with the U.S. Incorporated, and they went and they migrated over to the BRICS, which they are working with the BRICS now, and their BRICS gold-backed currencies or whatever they're doing with the BRICS. I believe that's when Trump stepped in and said, okay, that's fine. We can work with that. I believe that him and bin Salman are still working behind the scenes. They're, because I believe there were still billions of dollars being invested inside the United States based on what was going on, right? And so now he's working with Iraq and Iran behind the scenes. I think this war that's going on there is it's all show. It's all a movie, okay? The movie is showing, is basically saying, on one hand, in one part of the story, they're saying, we got to get the mullahs out of there. They're a bunch of terrorists. And like I had said the other day about Iran, 1,400 years ago, there was a guy in a cave that basically, wrote a book. It's called the Quran. And it was him that wrote that book, and he come up with all these different, ideologies that they had and called it Islam, okay? It was not only 100 years ago that the Persia at that time called, for the liberation of 4,000 Muslims because they were being persecuted from Northern Africa. Okay? They brought them in and fed them, watered them, give them houses and whatever. And it wasn't just, it was only 100 years later that they've turned Persia into Iran, and the whole country is now Muslim controlled. You see where I'm going with this? And the real fanatics, the real jihadis, were escalated to the top of the pyramid, and they were the ones that were ruling Iran. It's not the people. The real Persian people are being persecuted, with many thousands and thousands of them being unalived based on their political beliefs. Very, very, very sad. So Trump is in there to eradicate and take the heads of the snakes out. Okay. So, anyways, and I think that this is where Trump said we have to. When Trump says things, you have to kind of really, sink your teeth into the words that he's saying. And he said, remember, oh yeah, well, the top tier didn't listen, so we took them out. The second tier didn't listen, so we took them out. The third tier and fourth tier, they didn't listen either, so we took them out too. So now we maybe got somebody down there that's listening. So now he's making a deal, and I think he's making a deal with them for all the petrol and the oil and what's ever going on, making these side deals along with Iraq, because those are, and I think they're moving all that into the Gulf of America, and that's going to be the central gas station. There's only two commodities on this planet, and both of them are greatly sought after. One is oil, the other one's water. And you watch, water will become a commodity very, very soon. And that's where it's going to go, right? Yep. I think there's a lot of backroom dealing going on right now. And I think they're, all these countries have already signed on. The fact is that they're going to crash the petrodollar. How do you protect ourselves from water becoming a commodity? Drill wells, for starter. That's what they're doing with the oil. They're drilling for the oil. You just, we cannot rely on anybody out there because they're all, look at the position that we're in. Look at the situation we're in now, because we relied on the reptoids to do the things that they're doing. They could turn their taps off. They keep the taps on. So they can fill up the water supplies and the reserves full of pesticide, full of fluoride and chlorine. You don't need chlorine. stay off the grid. I just want to jump on something here about this grid living. It doesn't take that much to do. I have done this before on different projects, okay, when they were off grid, okay, throughout my career. And they wanted a cabin built, whatever. And how we devised it is that we got a metal roof, all their metal roof, and then we got the gutters and everything else, and put all the downspouts, and everything got flowed into a 1,000-gallon cistern underneath the water. And back then we could have put copper in that water or whatever, but you throw copper pipe into that water, that purifies it right off the get-go. And then you can pump it out from that rainwater, pump it out, run it through a filter system, and you can drink it right out of your tap. Don't you think that would be a lot cleaner than what you're coming out of city water? Of course it would be. And as far as your power goes, all you need is 4 5-foot panels and a inverter and some batteries. That's all you need. It's really that simple. And you got power throughout the house. And, you got enough water, you could be on the side of a mountain. Doesn't matter. You don't need to drill a well. You just need to capture the water that's out of it. And there's copper pipe that if you run copper pipe around, like a thin copper pipe, that you can bend it around a barrel, okay, and then put that copper pipe in there, take it off and put it off to the side, and then put a pan underneath that, okay? Watch how that copper will collect all the water from the air, and it'll start filling up there's lots of ways of doing it. Feels like Australia has a few rough months ahead. Yes, but what's happening in Australia, they got Albanese down there, their so-called 3.0 prime minister. They're putting him in place. They've already taken out the original. He's sitting at the YMCA, waiting for, probably he's been, got the rope already. So, but what's happening down there, they're exposing all the PEDOs. All the PEDOs down there are being exposed. And the SATANICS are being located and arrested. There's lots going on down there. They're not going to, this is not going to be like a play-by-play, on mainstream media or cable news that everybody can go out there and see. They're not going to do that. This is a covert, 21st century, 5-dimensional warfare. And the last thing they're going to do is it's going to announce their intentions. Yes, they're all masked up. Thanks, Martina. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Yes, I'm extremely happy we're able, like if we can get a couple of platforms going, then, we can use that, the power of the people to, to make them give in a little bit more. It's really sad that they don't use copper pipes for water supplies like they used to. Well, it's sad. Why are we so dependent on the city water supplies or anything else that's out there? It's very cheap where I am in the Philippines to go out there and have a well dug because the Filipinos do it all by hand. You don't have to go down that far. You go down there, maybe 40, 50 feet, and you're into decent water. It's got a little salty taste to it, but you just filter it out through, they have filtering systems down there. Yeah. Anyways, this is what I think. There's a lot of backroom stuff going on with Trump. The guy's an absolute mastermind, and he really doesn't care about the left or whoever's, demonizing him right now. There's so much going on, and the more demonizing he gets, the more exposure they're giving up of themselves. They know who they are. Yep. Well, I listen. There's a lot of PDF infected in all around the world. But like I said, since we transfer, over from the normal internet Microsoft BS and get on to Starlink, a lot of that is going to be encrypted, and it cannot be hacked. There's going to be very, very soon. We're going through and this is how I'm looking at things right now. I believe things are looking so bad, and people are so sick of it, and they're so broke, and they're so hungry, and they're getting burned out of their homes. We are in World War III right now, just with these forest fires. Okay, we're in World War III right now by seeing all this and seeing all the destruction that the reptoids are laying on us right now. That when we do get through this, and trust me, we are going to get through this, because every time they do something, they're exposing themselves. They have layers and layers and layers of reptoids. So if one gets caught, the other one takes its place and go on. So once we get through all that, and trust me, they are being arrested right now. I know that for a fact. There's thousands, if not tens of thousands of arrests going on every day. And you can see with ICE going on there, with what ICE is doing, if you're not for ICE, then you're for the traffickers. That's what I've always believed. If you're not for Trump and God, then you're for Moloch and Satan. It's as simple as that. So you're on one side. You cannot say that. Well, I haven't decided yet. That's not even an option anymore. Okay? Yeah. So, like I said, World War III is not for us. It's for the sleepers that are out there. And the sleepers out there are going to do whatever they can to disrupt and whatever until their bank accounts are pulled or seized or anything like that. There's going to be a swan event, and there might be several swan events, because it's going to be really, really bad for them. And that's why I'm saying take all your money out of your accounts, except for about maybe 5 to 6%, just enough to pay some bills. And if you have to pay a bill, I've only got 10 or 20 bucks in one account. So if I have to pay a bill on that account, then I just go down and I'll say, here's some money. That's for this bill. And they'll pay it. You have to deposit the money, and then they'll take that from the deposit, showing that the money's gone in, because it has to be a paper trail. The money goes in, does the deposit to pay for the bill, and then you can just walk out with the receipt, and it's done. Right? And you can do that with, buying silver or buying foreign currency, anything along that line. But I believe that I don't have any faith left in the paper money. No faith left. Zero. Like I said, it's very, very easy about, I'm, as an old retired structural engineer, I have always, I've done a lot of off-grid stuff, and it's quite cheap. If people plan on doing that you do not need the system or the establishment to rely on. Trust me, it's very cheap. You can have, all you need is like some 12 chickens to do whatever you have to do. They're going to provide you eggs on a daily basis. There's so many things that you can cook, the baking and everything else, and the any type of, you need eggs for everything, right? And eggs are so good for you. Good morning to you. Yes, and that's what I'm saying, is that a lot of people are moving out of that. They're dropping out of their apartments or rentals, anything in the big cities. They're using that money to go buy RVs, and we're having huge RV communities now. And this is why I think what Trump is doing is, the land or the so-called parks are your parks. People can go in there and park wherever they want. They do not have to be, part of the system. The land is yours, okay? If you own something that has a foundation on it, and you put a tax on it, or have a mortgage on it, you are basically a financial slave to them. Now, it's all been designed that way. And this is why I'm saying it's, with the credit cards and everything right now, burn them all up. Get rid of them. They did that to you. They used your money, and then started parasiting off of you with all the interest they were hitting you with the credit cards, right? That's very parasitic, very evil. Strange energy, like waiting for the other shoe to drop right now. I know, but the thing is, we're having to go through this very, very demonic. This is almost Revelations, because everything, they say, watch the water. Water's disappearing. Fires are coming. It's planets heating up. We got huge typhoons that are so much bigger. We got one called Dolphin heading towards the Philippines right now, and it's a little bit scary because it's just northeast of the Philippines, and the trajectory on that is I'm hoping is going to stay north, and that doesn't fall down into the Philippines, because that is a monster. Like 295 mile an hour kilometer winds. 295. This is not nature. This has all been manufactured. So, they can say whatever they want, but I do know that the deep state still has a lot of control of this, with this weather system that's going on. Whether they say it or not, the proof is in the pudding. Well, I told you how to protect yourself. It depends where you are. Maybe you might have to change your lifestyle. This is. We're going to go through this, okay? We are in the fight right now. We are in the battlefield. World War III battle royale, the WWF of all. Yeah, this is what it is. But it will, this cannot continue the way it is. And eventually it'll get to a point where Trump is going to just shut everything down worldwide, because he's got the 209 nations all signed up, and they're following in lockstep. Lockstep. Yeah. Massive cleanup going on. Oh yeah. There is a dragnet going on, worldwide dragnet going on right now on the planet. And they're getting rid of all the SATANIC. Okay? They're getting rid of all the trafficking. That's their main, yeah. And I know for a fact that the med beds are out there working 24/7, healing our little ones of all the traumatic bullshit they had to go through. Our secret is this is our secret weapon, okay? Is our intuition, is our thought process, common sense. We are in the asset column, which they absolutely hate. We do not want to be part of their matrix, okay? We got maybe if we had a couple of toes inside their matrix, that's fine. But what we want to be is prepare ourselves for the new world, the golden age, as what Trump has been saying time and time again. It's the golden age that's coming.